Hey, it's Dad. I wanted to share something about myself. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I'm seeing a lot of reels done by women. Bringing awareness to this, and these are women that have been survivors of domestic violence, and I just wanted to say that it's not always women. I went through this with my first wife. She turned out to be a really bad alcoholic, and when she drank, which was nightly, she would get physically, verbally abusive. Always started out verbally abusive, and then would, without a doubt, it would change to physical. But it wasn't even when she was drunk. I'll give you a couple times. One of the stupidest things that happened was, just to kind of give you an idea of how aggressive she was, we went to McDonald's to get some food, and our oldest daughter was in the back, but she's a baby at the time, and I remember doing this. Somehow I stuck the food between, like, on the back, like the little hump right there, on the floor of the back seat, and I don't know why. That's just where I put them. We had a small car at the time, and I took a corner too fast and I spilled her fries. She got so pissed that she took her fist and just hammer fisted right down on my collarbone and crushed the collarbone in here. She was sober, and I spilled the fries. Now, for men, I think it's harder because, first off, you don't want to look like that guy that's getting beat by his wife. It's embarrassing. For me, it was embarrassing because at that time I was military police in the Army, and going to work with a busted lip and then trying to play it off like you got in a bar fight or something gets old. I have physical scars. I got scratches on both sides of my face. There's 3 marks where she took and went like this and came back, and her skin, like an inch of skin hanging off to these nails. But there's a lot of mental scars. And the thing that's messed up about this is I didn't even realize how bad those scars were, my mental scars from this abuse that I took. And let me tell you, she knew that I wouldn't fight back. She knew how I was raised. She knew that I was raised by 2 women. She knew that my grandmother played a big role in how I was brought up. My grandmother wanted me old school. She wanted me to be a gentleman. My grandmother taught me, like, not only the things to do to show your woman that you appreciate her, but also the meaning behind these things. So my wife knew that I wouldn't hit her back. She knew that she was safe from my retribution for her aggressions towards me. And she was right. So it was just toxic, and it was bad, and it lasted a lot longer than it should have. We would get, we were married for, I think, 11 years. So technically, I was married to her the longest out of all my wives, and yes, I've been married a few times. I'm not proud of that either. But we would make amends, and we'd get back together. It would last a year, and then we split up. We split up for a year, and then feel like we couldn't be without each other. And this is a lot of times why I'll give my advice of, you gotta be careful of the toxicity. You gotta be careful of that feeling of comfort, because every time I got back with her, it was like we were lonely, and that was who we knew, and that was comfort. but that comfort came at a price, and it wasn't a good one. So let's fast forward to my wife now. My wife now would never put her hands on me. She wouldn't put her hands on anybody. She's a healer. You know, she's worked her whole life to excel herself up to the top of nursing. She has her doctorate in nursing, and she's a healer. You know, that, like, my wife has a heart of gold, and I tend to feel like I don't deserve her at times. But anyways, when we were first dating, and it's happened since then, like, she's never raised a hand at me, but there's been times like we're playing around or something, and like I see her coming out of the corner of my eye, and I do like this, you know, like I flinch. And I remember the first time she's like, "Why are you flinching?" Like, and started laughing. I mean, but she didn't know about that part of me. It's not something that I put out there to everybody. And, you know, so I told her, and, you know, now she has understanding about it, but, and it still happens every once in a while. She'll come at me too quick, or for the corner of my eye, and I catch myself flinching. Now, keep in mind that this is why I'm telling you this. These scars run deep, and if you're a man listening to this, and you're, well, you know what, if you're anybody listening to this and you're going to be in a relationship with somebody that is a survivor of domestic violence, these are some of the things you need to understand. The last time I was with my first wife and the mother of my two oldest daughters and my abuser, the last time I was with her was 1999. I met my wife now 6 years ago. So look at that. That gap between then and when I met my wife now, and the fact that I would still flinch, that tells you how deep those psychological scars run. So have a little patience with people in your life lives that may have been victims of this. And also keep in mind that men, though a lot of times our egos force us to not admit it, but we're victims too. We have been victims too. It's not just women that get victimized with domestic violence. Anyways, that's a little bit about me. And I honestly didn't realize it was, you know, Domestic Violence Awareness Month until I started seeing some of these videos. And then this morning, while working with my son in his program to help him communicate with his autism, he grabbed my face and scratched me, and that reminded me too closely of these marks. But he didn't do it with any ill intent. He was just frustrated because he couldn't communicate with me. Anyways, I don't know how long this is. Yeah, I do. It's like 6-8 minutes. I don't know. I love you. To my survivors out there, I love you. Be kind to yourself. You deserve better. To my people that love somebody that has been a victim of domestic violence, treat them well, treat them kind. Just be good to each other. All right, I love you guys.